Good afternoon. Before us today is introductory number 784A, sponsored by Council members Vaca, Cabrera, Drum, Ferraris, Fiddler, Gentili, James Koo, Capel, Koslowitz, Levin, Recchia, Williams, Foster, Van, Bremer, Brewer, Rose, Garodnik, Rodriguez, Ballone, Barron, Eugenie, Gennaro, Greenfield, Jackson, Halloran, Ignacio, and Ulrich. This legislation clarifies the Department of Transportation's regulations to ensure that parking time purchased on a munimeter receipt can be used anywhere in the 5 boroughs where the parking rates are the same or cheaper. Quite simply, the legislation ensures that parkers get what they pay for, provided that they comply with other parking rules in the area, do not move their car to a more expensive space, and do not park in excess of the maximum amount of authorized parking time out of space upon enactment of this legislation. Motorists will be able to use the time displayed on the munimeter receipt anywhere that posted signs allow, and I want to thank our Transportation Commissioner Janette, Sadik-Khan, Finance Commissioner David Frankel, and their staffs for their work on this bill, along with their Office of Legislative Affairs. And I would like to thank the City Council for approving this legislation. And now we will have, first our Commissioner is going to talk.
Great, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, the administration is constantly looking for ways to improve our parking program, and we were pleased to work with the City Council and in particular Chairman Vaca on getting this important legislation passed. Like the Mayor said, we need to make sure that New Yorkers get what they pay for, and Intro 784 achieves that goal, and while maintaining the necessity of parking turnover, which is an extraordinarily important part for local businesses. So I'd like to thank Mayor Bloomberg for his continued leadership and the ongoing partnership that we have with the City Council.
Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner Sadik-Khan, and thank you to the staff of the council that are here today. Lyle Frank, Navarro Lopez, and Andrea Bender of my office worked very hard on this legislation, and it was a team effort. And as Commissioner Sadik-Khan said, this is a matter of people getting what they pay for. And if you pay for 1 hour and you are only in a parking space for 20 minutes or 25 minutes and you want to go somewhere on that commercial strip, and there's a meter of equal price, then that munimeter receipt is still yours. It is the time you paid for. So we wanted to codify this in legislation because munimeters are relatively new to New York City. By December 31st, our city will be totally munimetered. And really, when it comes to legislation, munimeters were not in the administrative code, and now for the first time, we put them there in a meaningful way, and this will preserve the right of people to use the receipt until the completion of their time. And I do have to say that I did give an analogy at another news conference I went to, I think it was before the stated meeting, and that is that when I go out to eat with my wife, and I did very recently, I wanted to have dinner and I wanted to have salmon. So I had salmon and I had vegetables and potato, but they bring you so much, so what am I going to do with all this food? So I said I wanted a doggy bag, and I would take it back home and eat the remainder tomorrow. Well, it is the same principle with this bill. Because I paid for the meal, they had to give me a doggy bag, and they could not deny my request. And by this bill, I'm giving a new principle to parking, the doggy bag meter right of passage. So, Mr. Mayor, I thank you. I know you've signed much more significant pieces of legislation. Never. But this is a fair bill that will go a long way to helping parkers in our city. And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Would anybody like to comment? If not, I'll be happy to sign the bill.